What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Modern Hobbyist. Today I'm going to be making my very own custom leather patch hat with my new logo on it. Let's get started. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Charlie with Modern Hobbyist. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and click that bell icon so you don't miss any of my future videos. Recently, I decided to have my logo redesigned by someone that actually has some graphic design experience. So I contacted an artist on Fiverr and worked with them to get something I liked. This video isn't sponsored by Fiverr or anything, but I did find the process super easy and enjoyable thanks to their integrated online platform. It can sometimes be hit or miss with the artists you choose, but luckily this time I got a good one that responded quickly. So within a week from the start, I had a brand new logo for Modern Hobbyist. I haven't fully integrated the new logo into every aspect of my videos yet, so for the time being, I wanted to get some swag for myself so I can show it off until the transition is complete. One product that has always caught my eye is the type of hat that has a leather patch on it with the company's logo. I've seen these leather patch hats all over the place recently, and there are several companies that will make them for you. They always look awesome, but I didn't want to order in bulk, since I don't plan on selling any merchandise yet. There are a lot of overhead expenses involved in designing, ordering, and storing merchandise, and at this point, I don't have the space to store thousands of items. So for the time being, I decided to make a leather patch hat of my own using the tools that I have here in my workshop. For materials, I picked up a small strip of leather from Michaels and I ordered some cheap hats on Amazon, which I'll have linked in the description. With that, let's get started actually making this thing. The first thing to do is prepare a program for laser etching the logo onto a piece of leather. To do this, I exported an SVG of the parts of my logo that I wanted engraved. Next, since I'll be using the Snapmaker's laser module for the engraving, I opened up Snapmaker Lubin, imported the new SVG file, resized it so I could fit it on a hat, and exported it for engraving. At this point, I have my logo engraved on the leather, but it's not quite ready to be polished up yet. The laser leaves a lot of charring on the leather, so I went through and cleaned it up with an old toothbrush and a bit of soap. Now, this is my first time working with leather, so feel free to let me know in the comments if there are better ways to do this, but this method seemed to do the trick for me, and in the end, I had a nice contrast between the engraved portion and the original leather. Once I had the patch all cleaned up, I cut it to size with a razor blade. I would have preferred to use the laser for this, but the module that I have simply isn't strong enough to cut through the leather. So for now, a razor blade will have to do. Next, I burnished the edges of the leather by rubbing some 100% beeswax into it and running over it with a burnishing bit in my Dremel. The goal here is to compress the end fibers while melting the wax into it to seal it up. The Dremel makes short work of this, but if you don't have a Dremel or you want to save some money, you can also use a smooth piece of wood or a bit of canvas to manually burnish the edges of the leather. Now that I had all the edges finished up, the next step was to protect the surface of the leather. I didn't want to change the natural color, so I decided to use some beeswax to condition and preserve the grain of the leather. With that done, I went around and poked holes in the patch where I wanted the stitching to show. I glued it to the hat with some fabric glue, and I went around with a needle and thread to finish it off. Like I said, this is my first time working with leather, and I don't have any dedicated leather working tools. So the final product definitely isn't perfect, and I certainly wouldn't claim that my craftsmanship is flawless, but it looks really cool and I like it. Besides, since it's just for me, if it starts falling apart, I can always make myself a new one. In the end, I really like the way this turned out, and it was so fun and cheap that I even made a second hat, so when it's cold outside, I can still advertise my channel. This one was made with a Carhartt beanie instead of a flat bill, and it actually went a lot faster because I had already figured out what worked and what didn't. I was also able to hone my leatherworking skills a little bit more, so any future hats will look much better than my first. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this project, and if you're interested in making a leather patch hat of your own, I'll have all the materials and instructions linked in the description below. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a like and let me know in the comments if you have any video suggestions for me. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click that bell icon so you get notified every time I upload a new video, and check out my Instagram page for updates on the projects that I'm working on. Lastly, give my Patreon page a look if you're interested in becoming a member. I truly appreciate all my Patreon members, and each one of you makes it that much easier for me to continue making awesome videos like this. Otherwise, that's all for this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.